beautiful souls, and welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today. My name is Kelsey, and today we are diving into messages from our anger. So this video is a timeless reading. So whenever you find yourself here is when these messages are meant to find you. And this reading is really meant to bring forth clarity and understanding in regards to our anger, moving through our anger, overcoming our anger, understanding our anger, and what it is trying to tell us, where it's trying to lead us. I do very strongly believe that our anger is one of the most powerful forces that we have. It's one of the biggest kind of catalysts that we have to push us into changing, to push us into learning something new, or facing something, or moving through a blockage. But a lot of the times we really have a hard time understanding it or really internalizing it. A lot of the times we look at our anger as though it's been created or brought forth because of something or someone else outside of us. So I felt very called to do this reading, to bring forth messages from our anger, what it's trying to tell us. And out in front of you, we have 3 different piles to choose from. And I'm going to ask you guys to take a deep breath. Really come into the present moment. Bring forth any situations that maybe, is causing anger, or, any situations or specific times where your anger was very loud, or, anything like that you may be going through. Definitely feel free to bring that forth and keep that in the front of your mind while choosing a pile. But here we have pile number 1 with the Game of Thrones Tarot and the Desert Rose. We have pile number 2 with the Hush Tarot and the White Howlite. And pile number 3 with the Runic Tarot and the Carnelian. And I will have the timestamps to the beginning of each reading in the description box below. So go ahead and pause the video if you still need a moment, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to group number 1. Hello, my beautiful group number 1. Those of you that chose the Game of Thrones Tarot with the Desert Rose, this reading is for you. And we are looking at messages from your anger. What is your anger trying to tell you? What is it trying to teach you? What is it trying to bring your awareness to? What is it trying to push you into or through? So group number 1, let's talk a little bit about our anger to begin with before we get into your cards. I do feel for group number 1, your environment is playing a role, or your anger is trying to get you to perceive or view your environment from a different perspective, or to recognize something within your environment that you are meant to learn from. That is something that's coming in here for you. But in regards to our anger, I do believe our anger is a very big catalyst. It is fuel for change. It is fuel for purification. It is that energy that can push us, really push us to, to take action in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like it's very important. And I really feel like the social norm for today is to hide our anger, to pretend that it doesn't exist, to ignore it, to, allow it to build and build and build until we explode and have kind of like this irrational reaction to things that happen in our life. And I felt very called to do this reading because I really feel like our anger is trying to teach us something. Our anger teaches us in a different way than maybe we're used to learning. Our anger really points out the areas of our life that need to change, or that, maybe intimidate us, or that we need to learn something new in order to move forward. I do really feel like for group number 1, and this could also be just the collective of this reading, that our anger, at the time that you find yourself at this video, our anger is really trying to push us to make a change in a way where we begin moving towards something that we want, instead of maybe avoiding it. There is almost a sense of avoidance. So what I'm really feeling for group number 1 here in regards to like your anger is that it's almost like your anger is coming forth here to show you what you need to pursue. So some of you guys, you may be having a very difficult time in your working environment. You may become very angry, very upset, maybe even hostile or aggressive in some way, shape, or form. This doesn't mean that you are like physically lashing out, but there's definitely like this energy here where it's like, when you're in an area of your life that maybe you're seeing as something that's keeping you from following your dreams, or keeping you from having the time to do something, it's like you become very angry, and maybe you are telling yourself that you aren't able to do something or go after this dream, or to learn this new skill because of your job, or because you don't have enough time, or because you don't have enough money. And your anger is trying to kind of show you where maybe you're maybe it almost feels like maybe you're in the wrong place. Maybe you're in the wrong space, in the wrong environment. So some of you guys, your anger may be coming through as kind of like a catalyst for you to change positions, or to change jobs, to change environment in some way, shape, or form. Interesting. I hope that makes sense for you. But let's go ahead and get into your reading here, group number 1, and see what other messages want to come through for you at this time. So we're going to start off with an overall energy theme of the message that your anger is trying to communicate to you about. And then we will get into your tarot. So group number 1, what is your anger trying to tell you for group number 1, please? Okay, so we have the inner child coming out here. For group number 1. So I really feel like for a lot of you guys, you may be taking things far too seriously. You may be taking work far too seriously, or telling yourself you don't have time to play, you don't have time to heal, you don't, and this could have to do with the way that you were raised. For group number 1, some of you guys may have been raised in a very serious, very strict household, or around this energy where it was almost always like, I don't have time to play. I don't have time to play with you. I don't have time to, watch you do this trick. I don't have it. It almost feels like group number 1, a lot of you guys were surrounded by people, or parents or guardians, whomever was around you, who didn't have time to give you the attention that you were seeking. And this is coming out for you in your present life now, in a way where it's like, now you don't have time. Like, you live in this constant energy of feeling like you don't have time for anything. You don't have time for anyone. You don't have time to do the things that you want to do. You don't have time to play. And your anger is coming up in regards to this particular area of your life, trying to create this change in your perspective of not only time, but of work, and what you perceive work and play to be, and how you maybe prioritize those things. Because I feel like for group number 1 that you really neglect your inner child in regards to playing, in regards to having fun, in regards to letting loose and letting go, and allowing yourself to just create, or to flow, or to play, or to do the things that bring you joy, out of this idea that it's a waste of your time. Interesting. So I do feel like group number 1, a lot of you guys, your anger comes forth to try to show you where your inner child needs healing, and where there needs to be a change in your perspective, or in the way you're prioritizing yourself or your needs. I feel like group number 1, a lot of you guys don't view your downtime, or time for pleasure, or time for leisure, or time for play as a priority. It's not a need for you. You don't view it as something that people need, even though your inner child and your soul and your spirit are desperately craving this time to really just let go. So let's pull some tarot, group number 1, and go a little deeper into this message from your anger, and what your anger is trying to tell you, what it's trying to show you. Group number 1. We have strength. Yeah, there's definitely this idea here, group number one, where it's like you have to keep going. You don't have time to slow down. You don't have time to stop and rest. You don't have time to, you know, go off course or to do something outside of your schedule. And you may view that as strength. You may view that as courage or as success. Interesting. We also have the Three of Spears. Okay. And the Six of Coins. So group number one, what I really see here is this message from your anger has a lot to do with how much time you spend waiting, versus like this, there's this very strong idea here for you guys where it's like you never feel like you have time for yourself or for your needs, or, you know, for your inner child, for play, for things that are less serious. And you may even view those things as being childish, or even for some of you guys, you may see other people, you know, going on vacation or taking time off, and you may view that as being irresponsible. And it's like you're waiting, you're constantly waiting, you're constantly in this space where it's like, well, once I get to this particular spot, then I can rest, or once I achieve this goal, then I can rest. And it's constantly putting like your healing and your joy and the fun things in life in your future, never allowing yourself to quite reach them. It's like you're constantly looking out on the horizon towards them and being like, you know, one day I'll be able to do this. One day I'll be able to do that. But right now I'm not able to. Right now, if I allow myself to indulge in these things, then, you know, that means I'm not committed to my path or to my purpose. And your anger is really coming in here saying like there has to be balance. Some of you guys, there has to be boundaries as well. Like you may be the kind of person who says yes to everybody else. Everybody needs your help. Everybody needs your attention. Everybody needs, you know, your skills or your work or your energy in some way, shape, or form. And you aren't able to say no. And it's like everybody views you as this pillar of strength in their life. But in your life, you don't ever have time to give yourself what you need or to make yourself a priority. And that's something that's coming in here very strongly. So group number one, if you're finding that you get triggered or upset or angry when people call you, or when people ask you for your advice, or when people, you know, ask you to pick up their shift or ask you to work for them, or however that might come through for you, you may find yourself at this point in time, at the time that you find yourself at this video, becoming angry when people ask for your energy. And the reason why is because you're not allowing yourself to give yourself energy. So there is a message here for group number one to learn how to say no to other people. And say yes to yourself. So there needs to be a balance, because I do feel like it's been like a strict no to yourself for an indefinite amount of time. But you can't say no to other people. Like you're constantly giving, but nothing ever comes back is kind of how I'm seeing this for you guys. And your anger is really coming up saying like there has to be a balance, there has to be reciprocation, you know, and by reciprocation, this isn't just like from other people around you or like a fair trade type energy, like, you know, I'll work your shift if you work mine tomorrow, or, you know, I'll offer you my services, my skills, my energy if you reimburse me financially. This is also like there needs to be balance in regards to like I'll give myself one day off to rest and to play and to indulge, and then one day off to do the tasks that need to be done. There has to be a balance in that aspect as well, not just in regards to your environment and what you give and receive from the people and places and things around you, but also from yourself. I hope that makes sense. So let's go ahead here and pull some guidance, some advice that your anger wants you to have at this time for group number 1. I also feel for some of you guys that you may view your anger, or like that energy, that almost like intimidation type energy, or use your anger as a way to be perceived as bigger, or to have more strength, or to have more courage. Interesting. But let's take a look at some advice from your anger at this time for group number 1, please. Okay, we have 2. Our first one is the last quarter moon in Cancer. Take a breather. Yes, rest. There is a big message here that you are burning yourself out, that there is a need for rest, a need for breath work for some of you guys, allowing yourself to relax, allowing yourself to reduce your stress in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, the stress that you're experiencing has a lot to do with your own perception of the tasks and the chores and the work that has to be done. And then we also have the last quarter moon in Libra with make time for self-love. Yes, so your anger is coming through here very strongly. Group number 1 saying like you need to take time for you. You need to take downtime. You need to take time to rest. Your worth is not strictly connected to how much work you get done. And there is definitely some inner child kind of healing that is really begging for your attention. It's like your inner child is begging for your attention, as though for some of you guys, you lived a childhood in that way where you were constantly asking for attention and maybe always brushed off, and the people around you didn't have time to give you the attention that you needed. And now you have kind of inherited that trait subconsciously, and you are now treating yourself in that same way, where you don't have time to give yourself the attention and love and care that you need. And that's why your anger is coming up for you, group number 1. But this is what I'm seeing for you guys. If you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated with you, if it brought you value, please hit that like button, as it truly does help to support the channel and helps the algorithm to push this video out to other people who may need to see it. Consider subscribing if you feel called to do so you don't miss out when I post future videos like this. I thank you guys so very much for joining me here today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. With the white howlite pyramid here. This reading is for you, and we are looking at messages from your anger. What is your anger trying to show you? What's it trying to tell you? What's it trying to teach you? What's it trying to fuel you towards? What action is it trying to get you to make? So group number 2, I do feel for a lot of you guys that there is a sense of purification trying to happen here. Your anger is pushing you towards some sort of purification, some sort of detoxification. This could be social media detoxing. This could be really, I feel like for group number 2, your anger may be coming up a lot kind of socially, but also there's almost like this feeling of being mad. I'm mad at myself. You know, I'm mad at myself for allowing this to happen. I'm mad at myself for the position I'm in. A lot of self-blame happening here for group number 2, that I feel like your anger may be trying to push you towards diving deeper to understand what this actually is, instead of just doing this kind of self-blame, shame kind of situation that you may have going on right now, group number 2. Interesting. I do feel like group number 2, you guys may be dealing with a lot of shame. You guys may be feeling very ashamed of where you're at in life, or something that may have happened or didn't happen for some of you guys. You know, maybe some of you guys went out on this limb and maybe tried to start your own business or tried to take some sort of risk, and it didn't work out, and you kind of fell into this rut because you know, everybody told you not to do it, or, you know, you proved everybody right, or it's like there's this feeling of defeat, this feeling like, well, you know, everybody told me that it was a waste of my time, or that I shouldn't do this, or that I was going to fail, and they were right. And so why try again? And I feel like your anger is coming forth here saying, no, this failure had lessons in it. It taught you how to do better the next time. It wasn't for you to just sit down and give up, to throw your hands up. Group number 2. Interesting. So I do feel for some of you guys that there is kind of this energy coming through here of like needing to really find support, find a supportive team, a supportive system, find a group of people, or even just one person that has a growth mindset. And I know for some people this may be very difficult to find people around you that you can talk to about goals, that you can talk to without judgment, that you can talk to about, you know, where you want to go, what you want to do, how you want to do it, without feeling ashamed or embarrassed about what you want to become in your life. But there is definitely a message here to really seek that out, whether it be, you know, changing your social media kind of dynamic, or like really searching for different types of interactions, or, you know, putting yourself in new environments, or really for some of you guys just detoxing or disconnecting or taking a step back from specific people or energies around you that make you feel ashamed or embarrassed about who you are or about what you want. There is this energy here of like always having to have a mask or a filter on that's coming through here, like you would on social media, always having like this filter on your photo, never allowing anybody to see the real you, out of this idea that it's something to be embarrassed or ashamed of, or, you know, people are going to tell you to change, or people have told you to change. There's a need to really rid your life of those types of energies, and maybe even those types of people, depending on your situation. Don't allow other people to dictate who you are or what you want to be. And I know that's easier said than done, but it does become easier when you can begin bringing people into your life that encourage you to be who you are, that support you in going after your dreams, that, you know, believe in you. Okay, so let's go ahead, group number 2, and pull an overall energy or theme of the message from your anger for group number 2. What does your anger want to talk to you about today? What message is your anger trying to relay to you for group number 2? And then we will get into your tarot. Group number 2, please. What is your anger trying to draw attention to, trying to communicate to you about for group number 2, please? Wow, we have rebirth coming through here. Yeah, again, kind of this purification energy coming through with this group number 2. I really feel like there's a need to allow yourself to search for like your authentic self. I feel like group number 2, a lot of you guys maybe are feeling lost, or maybe are feeling like you don't know who you are or what you want or where you should go from where you are. And that may really, you know, anger you or upset you or frustrate you, group number 2. And I feel like a big part of that has to do with a lot of the changes that have to be made still that you haven't made. Like, I feel like group number 2, you guys have changed. Like you have changed at your core, you've changed internally, but nothing around you has changed. And that may feel very frustrating when you feel like you don't connect or you don't relate to anybody or anything around you anymore. And I really feel like that's what your anger is trying to bring to your attention, is that you just aren't vibrating on the same frequency as anything around you anymore. Like you're trying to, it's almost like you are a different shape puzzle piece now that you're trying to put back into the old shape that you used to be. Like you've transformed, you've been reborn, you have changed dramatically, and you no longer fit in the same space that you used to. And that may really bring up a lot of anger. But I feel like your anger is trying to tell you, like, it's time to find where you do fit. It's time to find a new space in some way, shape, or form. For some of you guys, this could be a new home. This could be a new friend group. This could be a new job, or, you know, a new environment altogether. This could be seeking out new environments, bringing and adding that into your life for some of you guys, whether that's, you know, going to a new class or a new school, or visiting new places like museums, or, you know, whatever it might be for you. Interesting. Let's go ahead, group number 2, and pull some tarot and go a little deeper into this message from your anger and what your anger is trying to tell you, what it wants you to learn, what it wants to say, what it's trying to communicate to you. For group number 2, please. We have the Knight of Swords, or I'm sorry, the Knight of Wands, Spears. We have Justice. Wow. And we have Death. Wow, you guys, with there's a tremendous amount of change and transformation here that you guys went through, and it's like you're constantly having to hold up this mask or pretend like the old you, and or pretend like nothing has changed, or pretend like you still enjoy or involved, or, you know, are the same kind of person that you used to be, and you're not. Some of you guys may have you may be like in recovery, or overcome addictions or codependencies in some way, shape, or form, and you're still in the same environment where you used to participate in those codependencies or those addictions in some way, shape, or form. And it's like the people you're around, or the energies you're around, the environment that you're in, only remembers the old you, and they want you to stay that version of yourself. And there's major clashing here for you guys, you know, and this is going to come through a little bit differently. I do feel for some of you guys that you lost something, or you went through a state of grieving that maybe you're currently coming out of, or you're going to be coming out of. And it's like people, or the environment, or the situations that you're in don't understand the change that you underwent as you went through this process of loss or of grief. Some of you guys maybe lost a loved one, you know, maybe lost something that was very important to you, or were grieving an old version of yourself. And it's like you came out the other side of this dark night of the soul. Even for some of you guys, you came out the other side of this a changed person, a different person. And there's like this energy of expecting you to be the same, or expecting you to be able to move on from something. Interesting. So there's definitely like your anger comes up here for group number 2 when there's a lack of harmony between you and your environment or the people around you. And I feel like this has a lot to do with the people around you expecting you to be the old version of yourself, expecting you to not change. I feel like group number 2, there's just something here where it's like You used to be in some sort of very toxic environment, whether that was a product of your circumstances, where you were raised, maybe your family, or immediate family, friends, spouse's family, however that comes through. We're all very involved in that lifestyle. And it's like, now that your lifestyle has changed and you no longer fit in that scene, people look at you as the bad guy. And this may be very triggering, and it may cause you to feel very lonely or feel very lost or alone in some ways. And for some of you guys, this may cause you to want to go back to who you used to be, but there isn't there. I feel like for a lot of my group number twos, you can't go back to who you used to be. That part of you is gone. Like, I'm hearing like Justin Timberlake, and T.I., the old me's dead and gone. And I feel like there's environments, people, energies around you that maybe have a really hard time accepting that. And so like you try to dim your light or shrink yourself down in order to make them more comfortable. And your anger is saying, don't do that. Your anger is saying, allow yourself to change. Interesting. For some of you guys, what I'm hearing is allow yourself to move on. And, different messages for different people, but moving on from things that's going to be different things for everybody. But allowing yourself to let go, allowing yourself to, even for some of you guys, to grieve, your old self or the old lifestyle that you used to live. For some of you guys too, I'm hearing the song Withdraws by Tom McDonald. Interesting. You guys may be my clairaudient group. You guys may be very connected to music, or you may receive a lot of messages from spirit through lyrics or through words in some way, shape, or form. There's a heavy Gemini energy here as well. And I feel like that's just because of the kind of Mercury communication energy. And I also feel like group number 2, you guys may be coming into mediumship for some of you guys. And for the rest of you guys, there's messages that are trying to be relayed to you from passed on loved ones in some way, shape, or form. That's here very strongly. Interesting. Connecting to your ancestors, connecting to passed on loved ones, being open to receive the messages that are coming through from kind of the other side is something that I'm really hearing here for you guys. And allowing yourself to move from your internal dialogue, from your intuition, and from your messages from spirit, and from your connection to your ancestors. I feel like could be very supportive for you right now, group number 2. Let's go ahead and pull some advice from your anger here. What advice does your anger have for you, group number 2, please? We have New Moon in Libra. Know you are loved. So I feel like that definitely for some of you guys is a message straight from the other side, straight from a passed on loved one. But also just in general, your anger wants you to know that, you're not alone, that you are loved. And just because maybe you feel like you don't fit in where you used to fit in, or in the same lifestyle or in the same environment that you used to fit in, doesn't mean that you aren't cared for or that you aren't loved. Okay? You are loved, group number 2. And there's no need to dull yourself down, to put a mask on, to pretend like you're somebody you're not in order for you to feel like it, okay? So know you are loved, group number 2. But this is what I'm seeing for my beautiful souls that chose this pile. I do also just want to point out the connection here. We have Libra and Scorpio energies here with justice and death. And then the new moon in Libra here as well, which the solar eclipse that we just recently had in October was in Libra. It was the new moon in Libra, and we are moving into Scorpio season. So for those of you that are watching during Libra or Scorpio season, I feel like the next couple of months may be very, very significant for you in regards to a lot of things changing around you, a lot of transformation happening in your life, okay? But this is what I'm seeing for my beautiful group number 2. If you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated with you, if it brought you value, please hit that like button, as it truly does help to support the channel, and it helps trigger the algorithm to make sure this video gets out there to anybody who may benefit from this reading. And consider subscribing if you feel called to do so, so you don't miss out when I post future videos like this. I thank you guys so very much for joining me here today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hello, my beautiful group number 3. Those of you that chose the Runic Tarot with the Carnelian here, this reading is for you. And we are looking at messages from your anger. What is your anger trying to tell you? What's it trying to communicate to you? What's it trying to catalyze for you? What's it trying to initiate? What actions it trying to call you towards? What's it trying to teach you? Group number 3, okay? So let's go ahead and dive into this. I do feel like for group number 3, a message that's coming in here initially is that your anger is trying to push you to create something. So for some of you guys, this could be just creating a new life, creating a new routine, a new lifestyle. And for others of you, this could be like actually creating something. Maybe you've had an idea, maybe you're an artist, maybe you're a creator in some way, shape, or form, and you're not creating what you feel called to create. And that may be causing your anger to really come forth to try to push you in that direction. But let's go ahead, group number 3. We're going to start off by pulling a card to show us the overall energy, the overall theme of this message from your anger, what your anger wants to talk to you about, what your anger is trying to communicate to you about for group number 3, please. I do feel for somebody here that like leather working is maybe an interest of yours, or like even just fashion, like creating clothing, maybe a very inspirational to you. You may be very inspired by that kind of creativity, and for whoever that is here, there is a message here to lean into that. Interesting. But our message here is manifestation. I love it so much. Group number 3, your anger is coming forth here saying it is time to bring something into this physical reality. It is time to make something real, to make something tangible. Let me just adjust my camera a little bit here. It is time, group number 3, to create this new life, this new thing, whatever it is for you. Wow. So I feel like group number 3, your guys's anger may come up when you are in certain circumstances that prevent you from creating, or when you spend too much time working, or cleaning, or doing all these other chores, or all of these other things that you have to get done without putting any energy or work or time into this creative endeavor, whatever that is for you. But your anger is coming forth here very clearly saying it is time to make this real. Some of you guys may even be in a position where it's like something just, some sort of switch just flipped in you, or it's like something snapped within you where it's like something has to give. I need to make a change. I need to go after something that I want. Maybe some of you guys are in a position where it's like you really wanted to do something. You really want to be a writer. You want to be a creator, an artist in some way, shape, or form, but you're working this dead-end job in order to pay your bills. And it's like maybe something happened at work that just flipped this switch that is pushing you into kind of hyperdrive to make this dream a reality, so you no longer have to suffer at this job or in this environment or in these other kind of situations that for a lot of you guys just make you miserable. And if that's not something that's happened yet, I feel like it's about to. I do feel like group number 3, you guys are going through some activations right now that are pushing you in a new direction. Some of you guys may be very resistant to this new direction, whatever it is. Maybe you've convinced yourself that it's not a possibility for you, or that you're not good enough, or maybe you've been dealing with imposter syndrome. However this may come through for you, your anger is really trying to push you into this. It's really trying to catalyze action and change so that you can almost, I really feel like sending you into overdrive or hyperdrive to go after this, so you no longer have to do these things that bring you down, that make you angry, that upset you, that overwork you, that overstress you, however that might come through. Let's pull some tarot, group number 3, and go a little deeper into this message from your anger here, what your anger wants to say, what it's trying to communicate to you. Group number 3, please. King of Cups. Ten of Cups. Wow. You guys are being pushed into a time in your life where it's going to be harder emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually on you to go against what it is you feel called to do, to go against, you know, whatever it is you're being pushed into. It's going to be more strenuous. It's going to be more work to not do this thing that maybe has scared you or intimidated you or caused you to feel like you aren't good enough. Whatever this is, I feel like for a lot of you guys, this is your legacy that you're going to leave behind. This is what people are going to remember you for or remember you by, whether it's, you know, a book or it's music or it's, you know, clothing or something tangible. I also feel for a lot of you guys that, you know, maybe not all of you, but for a lot of you guys, this is going to be a source of income that's also going to be left behind to help support your family, or it's something that's going to be kind of a source of income for your family to put food on the table, or at least it's meant to be. It's almost like your anger is pushing you towards making that a reality, instead of just being like, well, I really hate my job, or I really wish that things could be different, or I wish I had more time. Your anger is saying you do. Make it happen. There's like a strong make it happen vibe here. You guys may be feeling very stuck right now, group number 3. And if that's the case, your anger is coming through here to really push you to learn the skills that you need to learn. I really feel for a lot of you guys, however this might be coming through, it's something tangible. It's something with your hands. There's something here about creating something with your hands, something that you can touch, something that you can feel for a lot of you guys, or something that you can hold, or you know, something like that, that you're being pushed to bring into this reality in order to bring forth happiness and in order to bring forth fulfillment. Interesting. I feel like group number 3, you guys are my leaders here, but you may have a very difficult time accepting that role or having other people look up to you. And that may be something that you're currently going through as well right now. Like, you don't want the responsibility of being a leader, but you're being pushed into a leader position. And that may be kind of triggering or cause some anger to come up for you as well. But this is an opportunity for you to learn how to collaborate with other people, how to collaborate with the work that you want to do. That's what leadership is. It's a collaboration. It doesn't mean you have to be responsible for everybody else, or that you have to be responsible for all of the work, regardless of how much work other people do, or anything like that. Being a leader means collaborating with a team. And so for some of you guys, maybe you needed to hear that. We also have the 5 of Wands. Yeah, there's that feeling stuck, that feeling like you don't have the skills or the competency to do what's being asked of you, and you do. And for those of you that are like, no, I really don't. I don't have the degree. I don't have the skills. I don't have the ability. You're being pushed to learn the skills. You're being told to, you know, maybe you want to go into fashion and you have this really just amazing visual in your mind of like this dress or this outfit that you want to create, but you don't have the skills to be able to do it with your hands. There is a message here. Your anger is saying, you know, take a sewing class, to take a design class, to, you know, to invest into learning those skills there, to get unstuck. We also have the Ace of Swords coming out for you guys. Yeah, I feel like for a lot of you guys, the more you can lean into creating this, the more you can lean into doing whatever this is with your hands, the more clarity you will have. You may feel kind of foggy brained or confused or lost right now, but in order to bring more clarity in, you have to begin taking action towards this creation, towards, you know, learning what you have to do, towards maybe taking a leadership class, learning how to be a leader, or however that might come through for you, learning how to you know, lead a team, learning how to delegate tasks, learning how to overcome obstacles, learning how to overcome competition in this sense where it's like you're fighting with yourself, or like maybe you're in this team environment where it's like it's one or the other, or good or bad, or mine's better than yours type situation, and leaning into this leadership and leaning into these creations is going to help you overcome that, so you can begin moving forward together in this collaborative type energy. So yeah, leaning into this manifestation, leading into bringing whatever this is into this physical world and making it tangible is going to bring so much clarity into your life and so much direction. Group number 3. Interesting. So let's go ahead here, group number 3, and pull you some advice from your anger. What does your anger want you to know? What advice does your anger have for you right now for group number 3, please? We have the first quarter moon in Pisces. Honor your feelings. So there is kind of this energy here for group number 3 of pushing away how you feel, or pushing away what you want, pushing away your anger, pushing away how you feel. And there's a need to allow yourself to feel how you feel, to acknowledge it, to look at it, and to be like, why do I feel this way? What can I learn from this? What is this trying to tell me? And I feel like specifically honoring your anger, because your anger is coming forth here, trying to catalyze you into almost like into your legacy, into, you know, doing whatever it is that you're going to be remembered for. And it's like the more you ignore it, the more you push it away, the more you fight against yourself, the more stuck you're going to be, or you're going to feel anyways, until you can allow yourself to be like, this anger is trying to tell me to do something different. This anger is trying to tell me to take this class, to get myself out of this position that I'm in, that makes me miserable, that makes me feel stuck, that makes me feel burnt out, that makes me feel out of control, that makes me feel, even for some of you guys, you may be struggling with feeling selfish, feeling like it's selfish to go after what you want, or it's selfish to invest in the creative endeavors or ideas that you have, the inspirations that you have. And there's a need to kind of dive into that, to lean into that and be like, why does this make me feel selfish? You know, and kind of bring healing to that aspect of it, so that you can move forward into this kind of legacy. Group number 3. Interesting. I love that for you guys. On the bottom of the deck here, we also have forgive. So I do feel like for a lot of you guys, there is a need for forgiveness. There is a need for emotional release here, forgiving others for any harm or hurt that they may have caused you by bringing forth criticism or projecting onto you their own insecurities. And for some of you guys, there's a need to forgive others, a need to forgive yourself, for different reasons. Of course, this is a general reading, but forgiveness is also going to really help you have the capacity, the emotional capacity to lead and to be a part of a team in a system and still have like compassion and understanding for other people. Interesting. So there is definitely something here where your anger is coming forth, saying like your emotional capacity is kind of distorted right now due to your own pain or your own feelings that you are holding on to, that you are harboring, or that you aren't allowing yourself to recognize. So like the more you can acknowledge and honor your feelings and release certain things, the more capacity you will have emotionally, mentally, spiritually in order to grow, if that makes sense for you. But this is what I'm seeing for my beautiful group number 3. If you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated with you, if it brought you value, please hit that like button, as it truly does help to support the channel. It helps trigger the algorithm to get this video out there to as many people who may benefit from this reading. Consider subscribing if you feel called to do so you don't miss out when I post future videos like this. I thank you guys so very much for joining me here today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.